What happens in Georgia gets revealed one by one as the facts are unsealed. From the pit comes what they don't want you to see. When the daily nugget of truth is dropped with your host, BKP.
All right, it's Friday, right? Friday. I've been looking forward to Friday. How about you? Give me just a second here. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. It is Friday, March 13th. Friday, oh, that's Friday the 13th. Well. So I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. We have a Substack over at Vora, V-O-R-A, at BKP Politics. We have voiceofruralamerica.com on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, X. So yesterday's program, we did a very we went in-depth on the 14th District and the results in the 14th District. Took a lot of time on that. And some of you have sent me messages like, well, wait a minute, you say Colton Moore is gone, but he did qualify to run in the May primary. Yes. It's April 7th is the runoff, right, with Sean Harris. It's April 7th, right? That's the runoff with Sean Harris. And the May primary, Colton Moore, he did qualify to be in that election. So we don't know, right this minute, we don't know if he is running, if he's going to suspend that campaign, if he's going to try to run for the May primary. We don't know that. When we refer to gone, if you go back and listen, what we were really talking about is what we say, or I said, is the clean sweep of the plan that was laid out for the 14th District. That plan has been, no longer exists. So he may run. He may run. We don't know that yet. I got a very in-depth 5 things. I got 5 things, and I thought they were pretty good. But I'm going to. Would it be the worst thing for Sean Harris to win the scraps of what's left of MTG's term, with a primary and general campaigning upon us now? So I want to say this. Sean Harris, the top vote getter, the possible miracle, and I will say this, the possible miracle in the 14th District, I have it here somewhere. Let me see what we have it here. I said this yesterday. I mean, the guy has a real dangerous look, right? That is, you can't see him, but that is Sean Harris, the top vote getter in the Democrats, as he's, welcoming a new calf to the herd. He is a farmer. So would it be the worst thing if he won in the 14th District and shook things up? I've had that question a couple times. I've had that a couple times. Would it be the worst thing if Sean Harris won? So that's an interesting take, okay? And it would be good to scare the hell out of Republicans in this state, like a bucket of ice cold water poured over the head. Wake up call. Seems something radical is needed. Just saying, all right? So One moment, please. That's not what I wanted. The other night, let me remind you also, we didn't go over this, but the other night where Nicky Lama, Nicky Lama was a former Dalton, Whitfield County, Dalton City Council member, Ward 2, Republican. We didn't talk about this yesterday. It flipped, right? Dalton, right? Now, Dalton is a very Democrat city now. Congratulations to Julie Locke. They flipped that. Democrats flipped District 2 or Ward 2 of the Dalton City Council. All right. Now, and right here, you may not be able to see it on the screen very well, but this is a map of the district. Sean Harris gained ground in most precincts since 2024. The blue arrows show all the ground that Democrats gained in the 14th district. So let me just say this, and we won't spend a lot of time on the 14th today, that I think Clayton Fuller will prevail and win in the runoff April 7th. I think it's April 7th. I think he'll prevail in that. But if all the Democrats come back, there's a lot of scenarios here. Republicans don't return, or Colton Moore's voters don't return. So we're looking for, if you see it, let us know, but we're looking for some kind of statement, right, from Colton Moore. We're looking for some kind of statement from Colton Moore instructing his voters to go back and vote Republican. You know, vote red, right? We're waiting for that. If you see that out there anywhere, could you please send that to us? Because we'd love to see where he's instructing, because little discussion out there, what if Colton Moore's voters don't go back and support Clayton Fuller? So for one of the last comments that I got yesterday, I've asked this right here. I asked the question. This is Make America Great Again hat. This is a Make America Great Again hat. All right. And this hat is just MAGA. I asked, are they the same or different? Make America Great Again and MAGA are the same. We've not changed. Trump turned. Trump turned. So he's not MAGA now. I'm true blue collar MAGA. So when I asked the question, MAGA versus, Make America Great Again, what is what is the difference, or is there a difference? And we get Trump turned. Yes, that's what we get. Hold on, I was seeing if there's an update on something. So I'm going to say this on the Trump turned and get out of it for now. I do wonder sometimes, like, I hear President Trump and I think to myself, what the hell is wrong with you? Did you seriously say that? Now, there's 4 more dead, right? 4 more dead. Are we up to 13? 13 dead over there in this war that they're trying to figure out? Is it a war, excursion, incursion? whatever it is. I'll tell you what, it's not spring break for our men and women. But Trump put this out yesterday. The United States is the largest oil producer in the world by far, so when oil prices go up, we make a lot of money. We? You got a mouse in your pocket? Where is the we? Because we be not making a lot of money. We be giving those that make all the money our money. That's what we be doing. Can't put it any other way. There's your B. Yeah. We make a lot of money. No, we be not making a lot of money. I mean, gas is over $1 more a gallon. You get 20 gallons of gas. You're giving somebody $20. Just here's another $20. I didn't want this 20. I did not want it to cover the cost of beef or laundry detergent or a bag of chips that's $12.99 at the store. No, I didn't want it. I didn't want to use that 20, to help my Dorito fetish a little bit, I like a good Dorito, and what are they up to, $12? No joke, right? Have you gone down the chip aisle? I'll tell you what, a loaf of white bread, that's where you went wrong to begin with. It was white. Anyhow, a loaf of white bread is not 99 cents at the store any longer. So here's that 20. I didn't need it. I didn't need it. It's a small price to pay, if that's what you say. I'm like, what the hell? Did you say this? I mean, okay. Wow. I'm telling you right now, President Trump, we'll just stay right there, right? President Trump will stay right there. So here's what we're going to get into this afternoon. We're not going to take a lot of time. I had an encounter with the Weasel. I had the encounter with Bunny Ears, right? I had an encounter with the Boy Wonder. So a lot of you out there, and we're going to get to it in just a minute, but you're getting conflicting stories. And right now, as we speak, Greg Dolezal is chairing a subcommittee trying to find out why Wade and Fonnie Willis went to a cabin and she was drinking Grey Goose and he was having a glass of wine somewhere in the middle of the woods in Tennessee. Okay. So, once again, another political stunt. Oh, if you're new to the show, I can't stand political stunts. I have no interest in whatsoever in someone's political career, right? Their political career and they strive to maintain and safeguard that political career at all costs. But anyhow, I have no interest in that whatsoever, and I will not carry a politician's water. But, so I had an encounter with the Weasel. SB 568. There's a lot of conversation of what happened to that bill on crossover day. And what is the truth of what took place? Now, I know this. It's been said by multiple people, not just me, that Governor Brian Kemp is not going to sign any election integrity or election bills whatsoever. He's really not going to. So, let me get this down off the screen. So we're going to talk about that in a minute because I videoed and I asked Greg Dolezal some questions the other night, and I want you to hear for yourself what took place. There it is. There's the bunny ears. We'll explain the bunny ears in just a minute. Houston Gaines, the 10th district, He is in major right now. Let's see, where's that at? I had it here a minute ago. There it is. J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk are coming to Athens, UGA. Now, they're making a visit to UGA, J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk, Turning Point, and I'm of the opinion this is clearly for Houston Gaines, because Houston Gaines is in panic right now. Absolute panic. Because this guy right here, let me get to it. Right here, Houston Gaines, state representative. You know, this is Brian Kemp's young man. This is the son he never had. Well, you got Brian, Marty, and the girls, right? Brian, Marty, and the girls. And Houston's like the son we've never had. Why, Marty loves when he comes over for afternoon tea on Sundays. I don't know why I say stuff like that, folks. I don't know. It just happens. But, so this guy was running all by himself. I mean, he just had clear sailing. Nothing was going to get in his way. Brian and Marty Kemp, of my opinion, cleared the deck. Why, they made phone calls, that's what we hear, and encourage people to just let Houston have it because, well, we said so. And it looked like the Kemps, I'm going to use plural, were about to have their very own member of Congress. It'd be almost like Brian Kemp was the congressman of the 10th district without having to even go to D.C. He could just tell Houston what to do. These are all clearly just what I think, looking outside in. Moving right along, Houston was smooth sailing. Now, I watched Houston, all right? I watched Houston, and like when Governor Brian Kemp gave the State of the State address and he was going down the aisle, if he would have stopped short, just saying, there would have been an accident in aisle 5, right? Get me something to clean the top of this boy's nose off. Just saying. So anyhow, Houston Gaines is stressed out. I mean, he is stressed out. This guy right here, I do not know Ryan Millsap. I don't know him. I've never met him. I've watched the videos that he's put up. I watched his video where he got into the race. And I made some calls into the 10th district, I will say that, trying to get some information where he's concerned. He said he would put $4 million of his own money into the race over in the 10th district. I understand mailers are going out, that he is slamming the mailbox with a mailer. I don't live in the 10th, so I don't get them, but this is what we hear. I understand he's running TV commercials. His social media is up and running. I understand he's sending out mass text messages. Now, I have a video that I want to play. I have a video I want to play of his. I don't know why my audio got pretty high there. Sorry about that. But it creeped right up there, didn't it? But I'm going to play this video right now. Let me see where I have it. Here it is. This is Mr. Millsap's newest video.
Money. This is a place where after you've made money, you should go and make sure it's stable. Make sure it's stable so that the next generation can go out and make money. The country's been so polluted and destroyed by career politicians who won't fight the leftists. Of course, the leftist politicians. The country's been so polluted and destroyed by career politicians who won't fight the leftists. Of course, the leftist politicians are completely insane. But even our Republican politicians have no strength. And so we need guys that have actually already built other lives, that have other skills, that have the ability to go and do other things and have proven themselves to do other things, to now take a pause, come to Washington and start wrecking shop. Because if we wait around for these guys that are all pansy full-time politicians, then we're going to be waiting forever. And what's going to happen is the cancer of the left is just going to keep growing and growing. And one day I'm going to wake up on my beautiful farm and there's going to be a bunch of protesters out front and they're going to be telling me that I'm not allowed to own land, that I'm not allowed to have this much space to myself, that I'm not allowed to build businesses, I'm not allowed to own things independently. That's the world we're going to if we don't stand up and punch these people in the face. They made me do this. The leftist Antifa commies poke the bear long enough that I just got to get up off the couch and go punch him in the face. I don't know what else to do. I mean, I for years begged the career politicians to do stuff, but they just won't do it because it's their job, their livelihood. This is their world where they make money. This is not a place you should be making money. This is a place where after you've made money, you should go and make sure it's stable. Make sure it's stable so that the next generation can go out and make money. They can go out and build beautiful lives. But if we don't take a pause, this place will get destroyed by leftists. If you wish your politicians were actually like you, vote for me.
Just saying. Now I can't tell you that he called. I'm just studying here. I mean, does he look like a pansy to you? I'm just saying. That's it. I mean, you know, Ryan Millsap did the video. He said pansy full-time politicians. I mean, could he be a pansy? I don't know. Anyhow, I tell you what I do like. I mean, punch him right in the face. Punch him right in the face. Nate, all right. But I don't know his social politics, where he stands on social issues. I'm not for sure. I've watched his videos, but I will tell you, Mr. Millsap, when he comes out and he says, this is where this guy gets me, is it's their job, it's their livelihood, they're protecting their career. And every time I go, he said, I've tried to go talk to these people. I've tried to talk to these politicians. But when you go sit down, and I know that for a fact, I've done the same thing. When you go sit down with them, I mean, you're sitting there and you can pick up real quick like, oh, well, this is my job and this is my livelihood. This is how I make a living. I'm a career politician. I mean, I got to protect, my future. Exactly. So, just putting it out there. So that's one I wanted want you to look at, the 10th district. The 10th district. So, the other night, I go up to Pickens County. Let me switch because I want to get this as Friday. The old vote red. Now, many of you are asking the question, all right? What's with the bunny ears? Right? And this is Roman. She's a Muslim, Palestinian, member of the Georgia State House. When Greg Dolezal put out the Sharia law video, she walked up to him and gave him a gift with bunny ears. Right, with bunny ears. Just saying. So it has become, a lot of people are asking. Now, I did this. This is AI generated. That would happen to be Greg on the floor of the Senate, wearing what I thought would be the bunny ears that were in that bag. I thought he would be a sport, so I did it for him. And, like, oh, thanks for the bunny ears. I'll wear them while I'm on the floor of the Senate, right? And then they're going to his yard signs, and they're putting bunny ears on Greg Dolezal yard signs. Now, I don't know nothing about this. So he put out the video on Sharia law. A lot of people thought it was in bad taste. Now, I myself, I don't support Sharia law. I do think we need to do something as a country to protect our Constitution and the laws that we have in our country, not Sharia law. I agree with that, but the video was in poor taste. So the AJC did a story where Representative Roma, I think that's her name, gave him a gift of bunny ears. So what's with the bunny ears? Because nobody knows like what's going on with the bunny ears. Now we're going to get to SB 568, but here's a video, and here's a video.
I know Greg. I know Greg really, really well. And the truth is going to come out. I know Greg. I know Greg really, really well. And the truth is going to come out.
So the AJC put that out. The AJC put that out, right? This is getting interesting. So the bunny ears. Now, I ran into Greg the other night and I asked him, I said, Greg, what's with the bunny ears, right? And I don't know. Okay. So he claims to me he doesn't know. But now remember the committee hearing with Fonnie Willis. No, we don't like Fonnie Willis here. We don't. Okay. We think Fonnie Willis should have been removed from office when Colton Moore sent a letter to Brian Kemp asking Brian Kemp to remove Fonnie Willis from office. But remember, Fonnie Willis went to that hearing with Greg Dolezal. Now, if Fonnie is anything, she's entertaining. She is. She's got entertainment value, all right? So I'm going to play this video really quick because they're not going to let the bunny ears go on Greg Dolezal. And so the other day, Fonnie was down at the Capitol, and here's some comments that Fonnie Willis made concerning the bunny ears and Greg Dolezal.
It was not for a celebration like today. I was here to testify before what I can only describe to you as, and I hope they listening, a clown show. Yes. And as clown shows go, it was led by a clown. I understand the same clown that led my questioning was just gifted bunny ears. Some of y'all know the significance of that, some of y'all don't. But he was gifted these bunny ears by Representative Rua Romanian. She was responding to a hateful, racist video that he had recently posted. She told him she gave him the bunny ears because she understood he was into that type of thing. Word on the street is, allegedly, he got some strange furry habits. The Senate hearing was a great waste of taxpayers' money and time. The Senate hearing was not about getting answers for Georgians as they lied and told people, but rather it was a desperate attempt to get their own name in the paper. See, they got to keep my name in their mouth for people to even know who they are. See, these want-to-be leaders, they have no ideas for Georgians, no plans to make Georgians' lives better. They want to show you that they are powerful and strong by coming after me. Let me tell you what they ended up showing in December. that they're stupid, that they're weak.
Strange furry habits. That's all I'm saying. She said it. Fonnie said it. Greg maybe allegedly has some strange furry habits. So anyhow, so I bump into him, and we're going to get serious here now. But, you know, I have no use for anything the guy is doing this legislative session. I mean, he's running around the state as though he's Captain America, that he's saving America. The Dominion voting machines are no good. They have vulnerabilities. Just one thing after another. He found out that there's thousands of people registered to vote at UPS stores in Fulton County. He has found all these violations. I mean, it's just amazing what this guy has done. Really has. So he comes in the other night and he says to me, he said, I understand you call me the boy wonder. And I said, yes, but don't forget now there's Greg the Weasel, boy wonder, furry, rabbit ears, Dolezal. I mean, there's, you know, it's right. So he said, I understand you call me the boy wonder. So he comes in and he's going to address me, which, okay, I was cordial to him. I'm never going to treat anybody bad anywhere. And he wasn't too ugly, but he threw out a veiled threat. That's what I took it as. When you say something to me, I could take it like any way I want. You could say, well, you took that wrong, but this is the way I took it. It was a veiled threat because he shared with me that someone had received a lawsuit earlier that day. We'll leave it there. He shared, well, someone received a lawsuit earlier that day. I don't know, why are you telling me this? I don't know, why are you telling me? And that people should be careful. And this is not the quote because I don't have this on audio because obviously attorneys are always standing by because Greg has concerns, I guess. I don't know. But that being said, he said people should be, you know, people should watch what they say or something like that, something in that nature. People should watch what they say. And I looked at him and said, Greg, I have no problem whatsoever with anything I say. No, I have nothing at all. I mean, I say what I want. I mean, at any time. But he started with that in the evening. Now, he gets up there and he starts talking. And then the question came up on SB 568. Question came up. Oh, he said he wanted to be Batman. I'll get to that later. But I said, no, you're the boy wonder. So he started with SB 568. Where was that one? Here it is. And let's go here. He received a question.
We do have some members that have email or text questions, so I want to get those in real quick if I can.
Okay.
So, of course, immigration is something that we hear about all the time. Immigration, taxes, and of course, election integrity. A lot of folks in this county are very in tune with what's going on down at the Capitol. So one of the questions we got is about SB 568. Says, why did Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones wait until after 4 state senators were excused for the day to put SB 568 on the floor for a vote?
I'm so glad you asked this, because one of the purveyors... let me just go, because you're getting fired up. Because one of the purveyors of this craziness is in this room. And he's my friend. But without ever asking anybody a question, people just go on the internet. We whipped the bill that morning, and we had 10 hard no votes and 2 soft no votes. One of the purveyors of this craziness is in this room. And he's my friend. But without ever asking anybody a question, people just go on the internet. We whipped
All right, so let's start there. Keep in mind the question. Question is, hey, why did you wait for 4 senators to leave? Why did you wait for 4 senators to leave before putting SB 568 on the floor for a vote? Now, if you don't know who he's referring to, the purveyor of this craziness is right here, right? One of the purveyors of this craziness, and he's my friend, is here tonight. I'm the purveyor of the craziness. So they're paying attention to what we're doing, all right? And so now he's going to go into full explanation of what happened that night. Now listen very close to his explanation of what took place. And the only reason we're doing this is for clarification, because I've gotten messages, I see it all over. What happened? Frank Ginn is the bad guy. Well, Frank Ginn is a bad guy. So let's go a little further here.
The bill that morning, and we had 10 hard no votes, and go on the this craziness is in this room. And he's my friend. But without ever asking anybody a question, people just go on the internet. We whipped the bill that morning, and we had 10 hard no votes and 2 soft no votes. Okay? So my job is to be able to count to 29. 29 is how many votes you need. We've got 32 Republicans. 32 minus 10 is 22. If I bring the bill to the floor at 10:30 in the morning, Sam Watson will be there. Bo Hatchett will be there. But I'm not going to name them, I named them earlier when I was talking to Brian, but I've got a number of people that I know are voting no. So the people that were really doing the work, not the people that talk on the internet about this, Garland Favorito and his wife sat out the ropes all day long and called senators out there. The senators wouldn't come out there, they grabbed when they walked by. Brad Carver with the Georgia GOP was out there. Julie Allen was out there. Jason Frazier was out there. And these people were lobbying the members. We're working it. We break for lunch. We're working on it over lunch, and we get a nod from one that, hey, I think that I'll go with you. We get a nod from another one, and I'll go with you. And we didn't have, I thought we were at 29, and there was 2 people that voted yes that were still whipping no, but I'm like, if we put this thing on the board, they're going to go yes. And they did. But we didn't know that 2 people were going to leave right before we called the vote. So we had 29 votes when we brought that bill, when we decided to bring that bill. And then we were ultimately ended up at 27. But here's what I would ask. Would y'all rather we didn't bring the bill?
I think you should bring the bill, but I think there should be something, either the lieutenant governor who's in charge, they should be made to stay and vote. You can't leave, we're not done.
There's no...
You voted in to serve the people, and you're going, oh, well, I have to get out of here, I can't do that.
But
I'm not going to go.
There's no provision for the lieutenant governor to do that. You know what the provision?
Well, somebody needs to be provision, the governor then, somebody, whoever's in charge down there, should say, you cannot leave till this vote's over. You're going to vote.
I appreciate the sentiment, but it's just not the way that it works, right? The governor's not standing at the door saying that.
Exactly. So it's just like election integrity. I've asked 3 or 4, and this is not an attack on you, so please don't take it that way. I don't mean it that way. But I've asked 3 or 4 guys, elected officials already down there with you, and every one of them has said they believe in election integrity, we need paper ballots, we need whatever. So the last one I said, well, I said, pardon me for saying so, I said, but somebody's lying, because if all of y'all believe this way, then why can't we get it passed?
Yeah, I don't think all of them would tell you that they believe.
Well, the majority of them did, but then nothing gets done.
Well, the majority of them did, right? So 27 out of 32 voted for it.
Well, what's wrong with the others?
So,
Greg, since you referred to me,
hang on a second.
all right, now keep in mind what you just heard, okay? They were working the ropes. There was 10 hard no's that morning. Keep in mind, all right? 10 hard no's. They were working the ropes. Why everybody was out there. Come on, and we thought we had the votes. We didn't know. We didn't know 2 people were leaving, right? Now, I have spoke to several people that he has referenced names of tonight. I mean, at this night, I've spoke to several people. And so let me just say this. We didn't know 2 people were leaving. Now, this gentleman in the crowd says, why don't you make them stay? Well, we don't have a provision to tell them they have to stay, because this is that way citizens feel. Wait a minute. And I understand exactly what this guy's saying to Greg Dolezal. Hey, we go down there. They all tell us they want this. They all say they agree. They all say they want paper ballots. How come the lieutenant governor's not saying, no, you're not going home? It's crossover day. You knew this was coming before you made any other schedule. And let's get this done. That's what the guy is saying to Greg. What'd he say? Well, we didn't know. We didn't know 2 people were going to leave. We thought we had the votes. We had it whipped. Now, let me just say this. They do a count. They do a whip count. They go through, see if they have the votes. All right? See if they have the votes. Because, see, the ones that are hard-nosed that he's talking about, what they're not telling you is a lot of these people are no's because they don't want to go on the record and they don't want to get in an argument with Governor Kemp's office, seriously, or they don't want to be a part of something to send it over to the House that's not going anywhere. And they don't tell you this. I mean, you got people down there that are more concerned about their career and their political future, and you know, they don't want a problem. Now, I don't know that this is going to happen or would happen, but I have seen it happen. I've seen it happen. They don't want to vote yes, and all of a sudden, you know, Brian Kemp takes his line item veto pencil and, you know, scraps through that bridge that was getting funding back home. I've seen a library. Yes, I have. I've seen a library in the county get a line item veto and scratched out back home. Ask all of these people. They'll whisper. They won't go on the record of how many of them have had things pulled out of the budget. Oh, yes. They will tell you that, well, that guy up there, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Anytime they tell you I don't know what I'm talking about, there you go. So, anyhow, Greg is telling them, he's explaining SB 568. SB 568 was not a bad bill. I mean, it wasn't going through. It wasn't. If it goes through, it's not getting implemented in July. It's not. I spoke to a board member. I spoke to not Fulton County or not one of these metro counties. I spoke to a rural county board of election member that told me if they passed this and signed it and sent it to them, there's no way they could strip everything out and put everything in place and have it going July 1st. That's what this individual said to me. But now listen, remember, he's telling you they didn't know. So let's go a little further here with this.
I'm going to go back to what I talked about with Dr. Lee with school choice, right? School choice is the law of land today, not because it passed the first time, but because we brought it to the floor and realized who our no votes were. It didn't even pass the second time. It failed on the floor twice. Now, if you're looking at me as the guy carrying that bill, you're probably like, Dolezal's a loser. He can't move a bill. Well, this is a bill Republicans have tried to pass for a decade, and they never brought it to the floor because they were too afraid to bring it to the floor. But you bring it to the floor and you get 25 votes. That's the first vote count that I got on that. Then you bring it to the floor and you pass it out of the Senate. Then you bring it to the House floor and you get 16 Republicans that vote against it. Well, then what do? You spend your summer working the 16. And we didn't get all 16, but we only needed to get like 9. I forget the exact numbers on this. But we got exactly the amount of votes that we needed to pass it. Now, if we had just sat there and said, we're not going to bring this to the floor until we know that we have the votes, do you know what people do? They whip no so you don't bring it to the floor. They whip no because they know that if I can't get to 29 in a whip count and I'm not going to bring it to the floor, that all they have to do is whip no, and it's not going to come to the floor. So I've been a whip the last 8 years I've been in a sense. I understand the way that this game is played. So I would just tell you that that 27 vote count may have been one of the most important things that we've done, because it showed us that of the people in the room, we had 1 no vote. Bo Hatchett was calling me saying I could be there in an hour and a half. Can I get down? I said, we can't delay this for an hour and a half. So there's no functional way to do that. So that tells me we're only 1 vote short, which is Sam Watson, who's the chairman of the committee. And he wasn't there because he had I think one of the 2 of them had a daddy-daughter dance. So now I know if I bring it to the floor again, all the guys that were in the room, there were no gals in the room, all the guys who were in the room that voted yes for it, and those other 2 guys are there, now I know I've got 29. Right? And if I would have waited and said, well, these guys are whipping no, I can't get to it, I never would have had that count. So now all I need to do is get Bo Hatchett in the room, get Sam Watson in the room, and I have to vote. I think.
Now, this is where I get irritated. Keep in mind what he said. You bring it to the floor. You got to bring it to the floor. And maybe you don't get it done, or you get it through the Senate and you get it over to the House and it gets voted down by 16 Republicans that summer. Now listen to what is being said to you and I. Excuse me. Sorry. Listen to what is being said after years. After years. You see, we sent bills last year. Sorry about that. We sent bills last year over to the House. We sent SB 189. So what he's telling you is we got to get it on the floor, we got to send it over, and then we can work it all summer to bring it back. Wait a minute. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026. Now, I want to get back to the votes, because this is where it's convoluted online, and I want to get back to the votes. Let me get there.
He made a commitment to his daughter, and
Well, I understand that.
Hey, Greg, you referred to me, so
Yeah, I
I think I wasn't going to ask any questions, but you referred to me, so it's
you
only.
usually ask me good questions, though.
Yeah, but, okay, so let me get clarification, okay, because I heard what you said. So when Bo Hatchett, all right, when Bo Hatchett and Sam Watson left at 4 o'clock,
It might have been 5 o'clock, but
somewhere around there, and they were excused. When you're excused means the leadership knows you're leaving, because on the tote board, they were excused.
It means they know you left.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. The leadership knows you left, okay. That being said, when they left, you didn't have the votes, yes or no? You didn't have the votes at that time? Okay. Did you just say the last 2, you had the votes and you didn't know they were leaving? So that's what I thought I heard you say.
Correct.
All right,
That's right.
so Kay Kilpatrick and Hofstadter, is that his name? They left knowing you were going to put it on the floor?
I don't know if they knew that we were going to put the bill on the
Okay.
floor, because we,
But if they were yes votes, why would they leave if you had them as yes votes and you had it?
so we have a process, and you may have seen this before, where we write down the bills, they're kind of the next bills.
Yeah.
Like we do 5 at a time, right? So we table all the bills, and then the lieutenant governor's chief of staff sends out a sheet, says, here's the next 5 bills we're going to do. 568 was never on a sheet. 568 was a last minute call. We thought we had the votes. Let's go. And that was not at 10:30. That was at more like 10 o'clock. And it was about whatever time it was that we called the bill. It was about 30 minutes before that we decided to call the bill, because we thought that we had the votes. Now Kay sits next to me. Kay she participates in the it's the Civil Defense Force.
Yes,
They had drill at I don't know what time the next morning, and she said
had
that
drill.
she had to get out to get to her Civil Defense Force drill. And it's entirely possible The K had no clue we were calling 568. So I would not stand before you and say, well, they just ducked the vote because they didn't want to vote for it. What I'm telling you is we thought we had a shot at 29 votes. I'll also tell you that if we had gotten to 28 because we couldn't flip one of the other ones, I still think it's a worthy endeavor to see a true whip count. Because we had people that were whipping no that voted yes. And now I know that when push comes to shove, they'll vote yes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but Frank Ginn was a no all along.
He was.
So, I mean, I want to be clear, I don't care video running or not.
I believe that he was pretty open with his.
Yeah, I've never had any use for Frank Ginn, so I'm not defending Frank Ginn tonight. Okay, but he was always a no, and now he is the. But the two you said you had yeses left.
I'm not saying they were yeses. We were hopeful and confident that if we put it on the board, that they would have gone with us. It was not a sure thing, right? It was never a sure thing at any point in that day. It was far less of a sure thing in the morning when we started, and we had 10 people in caucus, or in our conversations, I should say, 10 people in our caucus in conversations, either with myself. Garland Favorito had a checklist he was working in the hallway. And I was going out there checking in with him. Hey, you talk to this person. Okay, I'll go talk to that person. You talk to this person. And we saw the board moving in our direction. And I said, Garland, we might have a shot at this. What do you think? And we're like, and I went and talked to the Lieutenant Governor. What do you think? He said, let's give it a shot.
So, can I ask a question?
To answer
Let's give it a shot. I went and talked to the Lieutenant Governor and said, let's give it a shot. I will tell you this. You know, we started out, I'm the, I'm the guy that, he didn't say false information. How did he refer to me? Anyhow. But Frank Ginn was always a no. Let me get this straight because I'm going to give this to you. Hold on here just a minute. I want to show you something because where we're at in this conversation is, and I think what's really frustrating to me is right here. Let me show you something here, folks. Okay, this is the tote board on the vote. Now, the guy said for himself, all right, 1 minute they didn't know they were going to leave. But then right there on video, I asked him, excused means the leadership knows they're leaving. Right? 1 minute we didn't know they were going to leave. So if you look at the tote board, Frank Ginn was always a no all day long. They knew that. All right? And what they really should do is they should put out the 10 names. What they should do is put out the 10 names that they claim were a no vote. All right? Because what they put out what he's saying, and I'm not going to say it's not true, but what they do is they put out 5 at a time, 5 bills at a time that they're going to run votes on, so that you're aware of the 5 bills at a time. SB 568, if I heard him correctly, was never on a sheet. State senators, it was never on a sheet. That's what he said. It's on the video. Now, if you look, you have Hatchett excused, right? And Watson excused. They left around 4 or 5 o'clock, somewhere in that area. They were excused. Hatchett and Watson. That means the leadership, your lieutenant governor, knows they're leaving. So if you're the lieutenant governor and you have promised for years to get a paper ballot bill and you got SB 568 and Greg brings it up and they get it through committee and they get everybody on the election integrity side of this that want, accurate, true, fair elections, in Georgia, honest elections, honest voter rolls, all the above. Why did you go through that whole charade? And on crossover day, you didn't know you had the votes, right? You see, there's a lot of bills that need to go through committee. There's a lot of good bills down there that need the committee's time, that need to get to the floor. There's bills down there that don't get a second read. There's bills down there that don't get passed out of committee. Good bills. So why did you give 568 priority all the way through until crossover day? And if the lieutenant governor is that set, because you got Donald Trump saying, 2020 was stolen, that's from Donald Trump, and it was rigged, and the elections are rigged, and you've got the FBI coming down and taking all the ballots from 2020 out of Fulton County. I mean, one thing after another. Then why don't you, as the the lieutenant governor, say to Hatchett and Watson and bring them in the office and say, look, you guys got to leave at 4:30. I'm going to put SB 568 on the floor. I'm going to put it on the floor at 3 o'clock today. So do me a favor. Help me go around and get enough votes to get that thing passed, because I don't want to put you on record or the others on record to vote no. Because I'll put them on record to vote no. Why not? But no, you've got Bo Hatchett and you've got Sam Watson excused. Meaning the leadership knows they're gone, period. Greg just told you that. Now, it's getting close to 10 o'clock at night. He said it himself. Oh, we had the votes. But we didn't know they were leaving. So at 10 o'clock at night, you say, we had the votes, or around that time, but we didn't know they were leaving. Well, I don't know. Kilpatrick and Hofstadter, they're both got an E. Now, when they have an E, that means the leadership knows they're gone. Period, folks. Leadership knows that they're not going to be there for a vote. They've been excused. Period. And that way it doesn't show up like a no vote or like they just didn't show up for work. They got excused from it. You don't want that on your voting record. You want to be excused from it. You have something to do. You don't want to be, I just didn't show up. Where was my state senator? We don't know. They were not excused. All right? I had a vote the other day where it showed something different. But right now, right? Not excused. Look at, and I don't know the reason you can't see it on the screen, Lucas. There's nothing next to the name there. Maybe leadership doesn't know they're gone. They're not excused. They just didn't show up. So anyhow, right around 10 o'clock, these people know. What do they know? They're gone. All I'm looking for in the entire thing, because everything to me that these people are doing are political stunts, and I don't like it. And no, I do not want this man to be the next lieutenant governor of Georgia, because this is just a drop in a bucket of what he would do if lieutenant governor of Georgia, and how much I feel I could trust him, period. So, there you go. What'd he say? It wasn't on the sheet. 568 wasn't on the sheet. So Kay Kilpatrick and Hofstadter, they leave. 568's not even on the sheet. They don't look down to see 568 and say, oh, I'm leaving. It's not on the sheet. So they went ahead and put it on the floor. Now, you can believe what you want. I've had people say to me, well, you don't know the truth of what really happened. I don't know. I mean, right there, SB 568 at 10 o'clock at night. Four state senators are excused. It was never on the sheet for a vote. 1 minute, they knew they had the votes. Second minute, he said, we didn't know they were leaving. That's on the video. We didn't know they were leaving. You didn't? And next thing you know, they're gone. So let me finish up. Let me finish up what I had here with Mr. Greg Dolezal.
Question?
Yes.
Okay. And so I think that we can make that transition. Ideally, we would have done it last year. It's what we tried to do, but we couldn't quite get there.
Is that SB 214 over in the house?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about removing QR codes, and they're supposed to be removed by July
Yes, ma'am.
this year. Are they gonna be removed?
I don't know.
Because there was no money in the budget for that.
Yeah, I would tell you, I don't think that we need money in the budget for that.
Okay. Because I'm a poll manager. And I can explain when we go to the primary and then we're gonna have a runoff, that the reason they're on there is because the law goes into effect July 1st, 2026. But come November, the people in this county are going to be pissed.
And let me correct something I just said. We actually put $15 million in the amended budget to move to whatever system we're going to have to move to. So there was not money in the budget last year, but when we trued up our budget in the amended budget this year, there is $15 million in there. The secretary wanted $60 million to make that move. I think it's crazy. I think that if you wanted to stop, there's a lot of stopgap measures that could have been done. But this is an attempt to essentially prescribe the process for November. So, and to the gentleman's point.
So when it doesn't happen, on you rather than me.
Since you're giving me my phone number?
Yeah,
So you mentioned what system we would be going to. So ES&S was at the Capitol today giving.
So pay attention, folks. I say it nicely. SB 214, I asked him. He said, SB 214 is over in the House. That's a bill from last year. How come we didn't try to work SB 214 from the House side? Why not? How come we didn't get all of our election integrity people over at the House? Why didn't we work SB 214 over at the House side? Why not? Why start with the new bill, SB 568? And what happened to SB 303 last year that was put into place for paper ballots? And then ES&S, is that who it is? How about the two voting machines? The mobile voting machine van that came to do a demonstration. Now, the poll manager says, hey, what are you going to do on SB 189? They don't know. They don't want to talk about it. The QR code. And she's telling him right there. She said, you know what? Here's what's going to happen. You know, the May primary, I won't have a problem. But because this is supposed to go into law July 1st in November, I'm going to have a serious problem. What are we going to do? Because I tell you what's going to happen. I tell you my opinion of what's going to happen in the November election on SB 189 if those QR codes are on those ballots. Is there's going to be people that actually say that's against the law. Because actually it is. And they're going to go in. There's going to be voters all over the state saying this is against the law. This can't be on my ballot. And you're going to have poll workers, and it's not their fault. These lawmakers in Atlanta, they're not good people. These are not good people. They're really not. Because you think the governor, John Burns, and the lieutenant governor, Burt Jones, will put them all together, and then the little boy wonder there, Bunny Ears Dolezal, the allegedly strange furry habits. Allegedly. That's what Fonnie Willis said. But you think they really care? Because I know the lady who was standing there. I'm a poll manager. So what's going to happen in November, if you guys don't get this straight, people are going to come in and they're going to tell me this is against the law. It can't be on their ballot. And it's true. And it's going to cause a lot of problems. And a lot of innocent poll workers around the state are going to get attacked, when I say verbally, and it's going to get ugly in some places, and people will be like, nope, you give me a ballot without a QR code, it's against the law. It's going to happen. Now, I want to wrap up.
Mobile voting units. I didn't even go look at the ESNS stuff. They were bugging me to go out there today. I'm like, I'm not interested. I want paper ballots, and I'm pretty settled on that. Sir, I'm way over on time, so
You're okay.
Are you endorsing Burt Jones for
yes,
governor?
I have endorsed Burt Jones for governor. Yep, and I'll tell you why.
I wasn't going to ask you that. I'm more than eager to hear it.
So Rick Jackson was, and I know Chris Carr, and I know Brad Raffensperger. Rick Jackson was my constituent when I first got elected. Was a supporter of mine. I'm in a Friday morning Bible study with his son Shane. You won't hear me say a bad word about Rick Jackson. But I have been in the foxhole with Burt, and I cannot tell you what it was like to be an elected official in 2020. From November 6th until we went back into session, my phone was attached to my ear. And if you can imagine this, having the
So, he has a running mate. He has a running mate, and his running mate is right there. Well, first of all, that's the boy wonder right here. Let me get it up here. That's the boy wonder, Greg Dolezal. The reason I have him as the boy wonder is every single thing that he's done this year is nothing but a political stunt. And I told him that. I did. I told him that. Okay? I paused because I don't want to use the word hate. Because I'm serious. I don't want to use the word hate. I don't like career politicians. I don't like political stunts. I don't like anything about it. So, I don't hate the guy. But I looked him right in the eye. I told him. I said, let me look you in the eye and tell you something. And we were talking, and I said, everything you're doing down there is a political stunt. So I'm not talking behind his back. And I don't hide behind a camera, and I don't hide behind a keyboard. But it's political stunt. And I told him that. Everything they're doing is political stunts. So I called him. He has a running mate. They're running together. And there's his running mate. There's Batman and Robin, right? It's Batman and Robin there. There's Burt Jones and the boy wonder. And allegedly, according to Fonnie Willis, he's got some strange furry habits. He may allegedly have strange furry habits. I didn't say it, just saying, allegedly. So that was what happened, and let's get up to this right here. Don't forget, here is the paper ballots bill, fails on crossover day. And then we like to remind you, there's the football, and there's Greg Dolezal's good friend Ron Pitts in Fulton County. And this is like serious. I mean, how did they? This is the what did she say? This is ESNS or ESNS. Is that who it is? This is an election voting system right here. They came to the Capitol. Oh yeah, they came to the Capitol to do a seminar, a little presentation on their voting system, because the state of Georgia is going to start putting out requests for proposals, RFPs, right? I can't make that up. All right, so going into the weekend, I want to wrap up with just a minute of the governor's race. And what I want to wrap up is, you know, I'm going to go to another Rick Jackson event, and I'm trying to put together what I want to put together. I have sent out some requests from Rick Jackson's campaign. And I'll tell you the requests I put out. So this is a Fox News where's it at here? This is a Fox News headline. GOP billionaire trying to woo Trump's support in key Georgia race bankrolled his 2024 presidential rivals. And in this Fox article, there's a claim that Rick Jackson gave Liz Cheney money even after Cheney had joined Democrats in their attempt to impeach Donald Trump. That's what the article says. So I have sent this to, I want you to know, I sent this to the Jackson campaign. And I said, you know what, I need some clarification on this. And they have not got back to me. So I'm putting together a report for Monday. Well, right here it is. Sorry about that. I'm putting a report together for Monday on this. But let me play some of the video that's out there as this campaign heats up, as it really heats up. Let me get a couple of these up here. So you know that Rick Jackson sued Burt Jones, defamation. And Burt, well, some have said thin.
Hello friends, Burt Jones here, out on the campaign trail. Got a lawsuit from my newfound friend, Slick Rick Jackson. Apparently he's got some thin skin, and he's filed a lawsuit again. This is number 2 in 4 weeks that he's filed, mad about what we're putting out about he and his company. And it's all factual stuff, folks. But we're gonna take this on like we do everything else. We welcome it, actually, because we'd love to start talking to him about his business dealings and some of his dark money groups that he's a part of. Y'all take care. Hello, friends. Burt Jones here, out on the campaign trail.
All right, so that's one of the ads. There's Burt. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can get this. I can't get that one to play right now. I'll just hold it for Monday. But anyhow, so this campaign between Jackson and Burt Jones, we've said it over and over, it's getting pretty ugly. And I want to do a full report on this Monday. So I also want to say this. I think people that are, whether it's dark money, because Burt Jones brought it up, whether it's dark money or not, I think everybody should, whether it's a corporation you have or whatever, you should have to tell people on social media if you are paid by a campaign or paid by a PAC that supports a campaign or something. All right. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I'm getting a lot of people ask me this, and I don't know the answer. But I'm going to say this respectfully. You got it? Not to be nasty, so don't get on your damn nasty horse. All right? I know how you get. But people want to know if Holly Kessler is employed or paid her company somehow, some way by the Burt Jones campaign. They want to know that. So, Holly, I think you should be very clear on that, and don't leave a loophole that you have an LLC and there's a, you do get payments from a super PAC, political or whatever. Be very, very clear with everybody, because you're going on and you're spending a lot of time attacking people, telling people they're unhinged, different things. You're doing it, and you are. So we're not attacking you. We're just asking you, Holly Kessler, are you paid in any way whatsoever, or your company? Just want to know. Now, before we leave, folks, this right here. You asked for religious liberty, remember? Remember when you asked for religious liberty? And now, let me see, where's it at here? This is under the guise right here of, this is Turning Point USA. What would SB 552 do to Georgia schools? Partisan clubs on campus, organized political activism, all ideologies welcome outside groups targeting students, turning schools into political battlegrounds. So, truth in education, I've always supported truth in education. As you can see, this bill right here is sold under the guise of, and I'll show it to you on the screen. Right here. Senators Watson of the 1st, Strickland of the 42nd, Calzert of the 46th, and Avenatari of the 31st, Walker of the 3rd. This is a political stunt to amend, let's see, Georgia anointed, is that what it says? Related to clubs and organization so as to provide for equal access to public schools for students engaged in political and philosophical expression, to authorize the organization of partisan and nonpartisan student groups and gatherings, to provide for school disclaimers of scholarship, to prohibit discrimination based on content, right? This act shall be known and may be cited as the True Patriotism and Universal Student Access Turning Point USA Act. I disagree with that 100%. I think this is wrong. I mean, most schools have a Republican club. This is a mistake. But it's election season, and you got to say Turning Point USA, right? And put these clubs in all of our schools. What they're telling you is, you put this club in your school, you're going to open the door for everything coming down the road. Why, the Muslim, political, radical something group. What do you mean that's in our schools? Yes, it is. So, look, you have a great weekend. I'm going to get out because it is Friday, and I want to have a good weekend myself. Please let me know. I always ask you to do me a favor. Let me know when anything that's going on politically in your neck of the woods. Please send it to me. Forums, debates, candidates going to be there. Let me know that. I'd like to possibly attend. If you have any local races, any state house races, or state senate races that have some interest, please let me know so I can follow it. And there you go. So Rick Jackson's going to be down. Wait a minute. Go down and see the guy and ask questions. Now, I did give him an A+ for the questions. And I hope he doesn't change that. I mean, it is something I did give him an A+ for. I gave him an A+. Let's see, I have it here. Let's see. I'll be glad when he does an actual interview with a real TV station. I mean, with someone, and stop going to these puff places like Martha Zoller. Let's see, hold on a minute. I want to tell you where he's going to be at tomorrow. And let's see. He's going to be down at Adventure Outdoor at 11 o'clock. Is that it? Is that it? Adventure Outdoor, 11 o'clock tomorrow. Give me just a second here. I had it here. Adventure Outdoor in Marietta tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Go down, meet the guy, ask your questions. Because like I said, I give him an A for letting people ask questions. I'm going to be studying some stuff, doing a full report this weekend. I like what he's saying, but at the same time, I do have concerns on some of the things that his company has done in the past and maybe some things that he has contributed to. Folks, you have a great weekend. I'm your host, BKP, and we'll be back Monday morning. Please share our Substack and all of our videos with your friends.
What happens in Georgia gets revealed one by one as the facts are unsealed. From the pit comes what they don't want you to see. When the daily nugget of truth is dropped with your host, BKP.